Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It's 4 o'clock, and here we are ready with another fun, exciting webinar. Okay, I want to thank everybody for participating. Let me get on here 1 second so we can just have a little hello here. There we are. Hi, everybody. All see me there? I think so. So there we are. Here's my Venezuelan pap. And for those of you who don't know, we got to wear a mask. I don't know if you know this, but in Czechoslovakia, shall I say in the Czech Republic, they have one of the lowest incidences of the coronavirus. And probably the reason is because in that country, by law, everybody has to wear a mask when they go outside. That way, I protect you because if I'm carrying the disease, when I cough or talk, all the droplets will stay here. And so I protect you, and if you wear a mask, then you protect me. I think that's kind of a cool agreement between the two parties. So we'll see what that's going to happen. Okay, guys, so let's get going to start on our webinar. I'm going to bring up a different PowerPoint. There it is. And I just want to make sure I have to, let me see, there we are. Okay, and we're ready to go. And there we are. Okay, so the theme of all these webinars has been simply the following theme. It's to jumpstart your business after the COVID-19 crisis. And today we're going to talk about cash liquidity and the different issues, the different things we can do basically as we move forward. All right. And what we're going to talk about here is, first of all, where am I getting this information from? Okay, which is very important. It's not just stuff I'm inventing. It's definitely stuff that I'm getting from different sources. First of all, from America's Small Business Development Corporation in Florida, they have offices at FIU downtown. They're part or basically subsidized or financed to a large degree by the SBA, the Small Business Administration. And having said that, there we've got information from the SBA, information from the state of Florida. Unbelievable, they're doing things too. And information from Facebook. They have programs, and this is going to surprise you. Brazil. Why Brazil? Because when I lived in Brazil, I went through many different kinds of economic crisis, and a lot of things they did there, we need to do here as we go forward. So let's first talk about our cash requirements. What do we need? Well, businesses need cash because we need to analyze our cash requirements. What do we really need? What kind of cash do we need? And where is this cash coming from? How are we going to get the cash? And what do we get this cash in order to stay afloat? Because the whole issue we need to address is how on earth are we going to stay afloat? Because when you don't have cash, nothing works. So one of the key things we want to say is cash is king. Okay, if you've got cash in the bank, everything works out fine. So the first step we have to do is try and delay our payments. Push it back, way back. We need to renegotiate with our banks and our creditors, our landlords. If you owe rent and you haven't paid the rent yet, speak to your landlord right now. Tell him, hey, listen, he understands. Everybody's out of work. Nobody's selling anything. Business has stopped. Just tell them, look, rent's, let's say $2,000 a month. I'm sorry, I can only pay 1,000. Does that work okay? How does that work out? Whatever. If you have a mortgage, seek a forbearance. Forbearance basically means you're going to sit down with your mortgage broker and say, listen, or your mortgage person, the person you're paying the money to, not the person who you took the mortgage out, because mortgages are sold from one company to the other company. You want to be sure that the person you're paying will give you the forbearance. Generally, what you can ask for is like a 90-day forbearance. What does that mean? You don't pay your mortgage for 3 months, but they'll add 3 months to your mortgage at the end. So if let's say you have 25 years left in your mortgage, now you have 25 years and 3 months. You pay those 3 months later on. It's almost like a gift in cash flow, but you still have to pay your taxes and your insurance, okay? We want to delay our payments. We want to speak to our creditors about lower interest payments. If you have a credit card balance, guess what? The banks right now, the Fed's lowered the rates to 0 basically. So why would you pay 14 for 15% interest? Okay, so we want to push push back our payments, delay them as much as we can. On the other hand, we want to accelerate the payments that are due to us, our receipts. Even offer discounts for prompt payment because you want money coming in. The less money you have outstanding coming to you, the safer you will be. The other thing we need to do, delay our capital expenditures. If we're looking for new equipment, new things, delay our expenditures, delay our commitments. We'd like you, hopefully the government wants you, everybody wants you to try and keep your staff. Sometimes you may have no choice other than letting them go, but maybe you can try just lowering their wages for a while. And we're going to talk in a while about this paycheck protection plan that the government came up with. But in the meantime, let's talk about the state of Florida. Those of us who live in the state, there are some viewers here who are not in the state of Florida. They're somewhere else. That doesn't matter. It's not a problem. Every state has its own program, but within Florida, businesses can apply for interest-free one-year loans up to $50,000. In exceptional cases, it could be $100,000. But let's look at that. I was speaking to a gentleman not too long ago as a small business. Says, I don't really need the money. Let somebody else get it. Then he called me the other day. Said, wow, why did this last a long time? Look, it's 1 year interest-free. You don't need it? Take it. Put it in the bank. Save it. Doesn't matter. Have it. There's a reserve. Nobody knows how long this issue is going to last. We don't know. They say now that the peak in Florida is going to be at the end of this month. Today's only the 3rd, the beginning of May. So are we going to be locked up in our houses till the middle of May? That's another 6 weeks. And then when we come back, what do you think the economy is going to be like? Baby, it's going to be tough. We got to be very careful, okay? So the key thing to be able to get a Florida emergency bridge loan, first of all, you have to be located in Florida, obviously, and it's got to be before June 9th. So if you opened up recently, you're not in business, but that's not the case. If you've been open for a while, you're there. The other thing is you must have at least 2 employees. Now, when we talk about employees, that can be W-2, meaning they're employees of the company. It can be 1099. How many of you guys have an accountant, have a bookkeeper, have a web designer, have somebody that you give a 1099 to? Guess what? That works too. And leased employees. What do we mean by leased employees? If you have people coming into your offices to clean, your gardeners, all these sort of people, these are people that work for you. They're not employees directly, but you lease their work, okay? So you need to have at least 2. That's not too difficult if you have a business, okay? The other thing is you cannot have any outstanding loans with the state, so pay them off if you have any. And you have to have had a significant economic injury. Well, guess what? That's because of COVID-19. Everybody's had an economic injury. For information, I hope you can see it there. You can look at it at floridadisasterloan.org, floridadisasterloan.org. And you can apply online to floridajobs.org, Rebuild Florida/business recovery. I'm going to repeat, floridajobs.org, /rebuild Florida/business recovery. That's absolutely key as we move forward. It's very simple to fill out a form. You can get 50 grand. That's not too bad. That's really going to help you very, very much. Let's talk about the Small Business Administration. Mr. Mnuchin, or I can't pronounce his name properly, M-N-U-C-H-E-N. He's the Secretary of the Treasury. What an amazing man. But anyway, these loans are direct from the SBA. Generally, SBA loans, you have to go to a bank, to a small business lending area, and the SBA will be the guarantor. In this case of these loans, you go directly to the SBA. You can borrow up to 30 years at an interest rate of 3.75%. That's the latest that I have. It could be changing, and you can get that if there's no credit available elsewhere. Let me tell you, it's really tough. And if you're not-for-profit, and I know I got somebody online who works for not-for-profit, guess what? Not-for-profits pay 2.75. That's not too bad. So where do you go to apply? Right here, www.sba, Small Business Administration.gov/disaster. We're in national disaster, a national emergency. So we all qualify. It's not a point of view of waiting for a hurricane. This is not the case of recovery after a hurricane. This is a recovery after a total economic disaster. And now we're going to talk about something that's very interesting. It's called a paycheck or payroll protection plan. This is a loan from the SBA, and the idea is what the SBA is trying to do is to get employers to keep their employees employed working during this crisis. Now, if you get this loan, and it's not too difficult to get it, fortunately, you need to use that first of all to hire people, keep your people. But what if you have people there, but they're not really working because let's presume you have a restaurant, you only have so much people in takeout. It doesn't matter. Spend your time training them, training about how to set the tables, how to serve, how to do better customer engagement, whatever you need so your employers, when you finally really reopen your business, you get going. The goal of the government is to keep our businesses ready. So when everything opens up, we're ready to go. Because right now, people have let go. 10 million people are now unemployed and are collecting unemployment insurance. It's a heck of a lot better to have them at least on work, waiting to go to work. And I think that would be absolutely great. So let's go over, and here I call it the payroll protection plan, because that's really what it is. It's a payroll protection plan. It's for small businesses. And in this country, I mean, for me, I come from Venezuela. It's kind of hard to think that 500 people is a small business, but in this country, this is a beautiful country. If you have less than 500 people, you qualify as a small business. What can you use those loans for? Payroll. You can pay your employees. Insurance premium, health insurance. Give them health insurance. You can pay for that. Pay the mortgage, pay the rent, pay the utilities. Run your business. Keep your business afloat. Now, here's the amazing part about this thing. The whole loan can be forgiven. It's possible. If you rehire the employees that you just let go, 3 million people were let go. Oh my God, it's amazing. The week before, week 6.6, that's 10 million people were let go in 2 weeks. If you rehire these employees, and if you keep your employees and keep your head count stable for the year, guess what? The loan is forgiven. Forgiven. This is free money to hold your business together. The key thing is that no more than 25% of what's being forgiven is for non-payroll purposes. In other words, 75% of the money should be for employees and 25% for rent, utilities, whatever the case may be. If you spend more than that on rent and utilities, that's okay, it'll get adjusted. But still, your employee part will be covered by the government, provided that you keep your head count stable, keep the people employed. Applications can be received as of today. Today's the start date. Don't waste time. Millions and millions of people will be asking for employment, asking for these loans. There are 30 million small companies available. 30 million available in this country. 30 million. It's amazing, the numbers. Okay, so get going right away. Okay. Now, generally, these PPP, payroll protection programs, have to go through local lenders, your credit unions, the bank that have small business offices, etc. If you have a good relationship with your bank, then they have a small business lending division. Contact your bank right away. They're not going to want to see you in person. I know many banks, they will talk to you on Zoom, on Facebook Live, whatever the case may be. Even as we're talking right now, they'll figure it out. They'll go to meeting, go to webinar, whatever. It makes no difference. Speak to them. But if you can't get through to them, guess what? You can also use the SBA directly. Okay, so if you can't get through to a bank, nobody wants to speak to you, everybody's busy, whatever it is, everybody's working out of their home, they can't deal with it, no problem, okay? Now, these loans, they're deferred right now for 6 months, but it could be for a year, and it's a 1% interest rate. When the law first came out, it was 0.5, they've raised it to 1. Why? Because the banks, if they're gonna lend money, and guess what? It's not the bank's money, it's the government's money. They're going to get 1% to lend you the government's money. That's not too bad. Okay, so where can you download an application? It's right here. It's a long address. It's home.treasury.gov, G-O-V. And you could later on, if you can, just go. I'm going to send this email out. I'll send out this webinar as an email. When you look at it, just freeze it. You can type it down, but I'll tell you right now, home.treasury.gov, gov/system/files/136. Why that number? I have no idea. Slash paycheck dash protection dash program dash application dash 33020. It goes on and on. Dash V3 dash PDF. Doesn't matter. Download the system, fill it out in hand and by your hand first before you upload it. So you make sure you have all the information they're going to ask for. They're going to want your P&L. They're going to want your tax returns. They want to know the number of employees, et cetera, et cetera. All that information you have to do. But all you need is 2 employees, 2, you and somebody else, okay? So if you've got an accounting firm, if you're a lawyer and it's you and your secretary, your assistant, guess what? You qualify, okay? So let's move on. Unemployment compensation for independent contractors, just unemployment in general, okay? Right now, they're going to allow contractors. That means if you're a 1099 employee, you work for yourself, you're an independent employee, you're an agent. I have somebody who I believe, let me see. Yep, she came on. She's a real estate agent. Okay, so she gets paid in the 1099. Falling apart? You better believe it. Plumbers, all these sort of people, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, they can file for unemployment with their state. Even if you're partially employed, let's say you've had a drop of 50% of your income, you drive Uber. Who's taking an Uber now? Not too many people. So if you were earning money on Uber and all of a sudden you collapsed, guess what? You can claim unemployment. Every state is going to have different rules. Go online and file, okay? Once you file for the state, you automatically will file for the government program. So if your state will qualify you and say, yes, you're eligible within your state, and in Florida, theoretically they will, even though when you go on it, it's going to say who's your employer? You are your employer. Okay, that's what you're going to say. You are your own employer, all right? But once you qualify for it, if the state pays you or doesn't pay you, it's a different story. But the federal government will send you $600 a week. That's $2,400 a month for 13 weeks, okay? Provided that they don't stretch it out. My guess, they're going to stretch it out. Think about it. Wilmington tennis game, the championship is on for the end of July. They've already postponed it. The Democrats postponed their convention for their, the presidential, the convention to decide who the nominee is going to be. That's been postponed till the end of August. So we're talking now, here we are in March, April, May, June, July. That's 5 months from now. And they have their convention for 6 months from now. 6 months is a lot longer than 13 weeks, okay? So will they extend that? My guess is they will. I don't know. Nobody knows. I cannot make a promise. And by the way, today, if you're unemployed, you have to be actively looking for a job, and then you got to wait before you get an employment. That's not a requirement anymore. There are no jobs to look for. So the looking for a job is not a requirement, and you don't have to wait to file. File immediately. When we're finished with this webinar, get online, do what you can do, get going, okay? Now, Facebook, isn't that amazing? Facebook. I don't know. Anyway, they're offering $100 million in cash and ad credits. In other words, you get free advertising for 30,000 eligible businesses in 30 countries. Not a heck of a lot of people. But anyway, the details are www.facebook.com/business/grants, okay? They also have resources hubs for all kinds of small businesses, different resources, ideas. There again, facebook.com/business/boost resource, okay? Because they want to help you boost your resource, boost your business. That's what they want to try and do. Good for them, okay? So moving forward again, what happens if you get sick? This disease is highly contagious. Most people who who have the COVID-19 disease, they won't even know they have it. They may just get like a cold system. Only people like me, I'm a high risk person, but most of you watching are not high risk person. But what if you get sick? I mean, look, Chris Cuomo from CNN, he's at home sick. you have to designate somebody to be in charge of your daily operation of your business. Because if you're not there, who's covering for you? You just want the employees to do it by themselves? You can't do it. So we have to think, what if I have to temporarily close? Just shut down the store. What am I going to do if I'm in retail? What am I going to do if I'm a real estate agent? Okay. How are we going to sell our wares and our services online? We already have a webinar on that. We've done a bit of that before. We call it customer relationship management. It's on the videos that we have. I'll show you later on how you can get on the videos. Okay. What if this lasts weeks or months longer? Like the gentleman who I spoke to earlier, I think it was last week or week before last, about the Florida loan system that's 50 grand. He said, I really don't know, I could survive. Well, guess what? Now he told me, you know what? If this lasts a long time, I could use that 50 grand. So you sure as I can. Okay. How's it going to affect your family and your staff? How can you help your staff deal through this problem? And is your temporary plan that you're going to put in place is sustainable? You have to consider we're going to be closed down longer. Even though they say at the end of the month, they've extended it to the 30th. Guess what? The peak in Miami is going to be at the end of April, beginning of May. I don't believe, I don't know, nobody knows. But if the peak is the end of April, beginning of May, and this afternoon I listened to, it was actually around 11 o'clock, I listened to these two doctors and two hospitals here, and they both confirmed in the webinar that I was in that they're going to be planning for the end of May. How bad will it be? I don't know. If we all wear our masks as we go out, and better yet, don't even go out, maybe it won't be that bad. But let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay. Now, as I said before, if you have an existing, this is another thing, an existing relationship with a lender, any kind of lender, contact your current line of credit. What do I mean by that? If you have a credit card, see if they'll give you a deferment on your payment. Why not? Call and cry. If you have to pay your car payments, call the bank. Bank of America. Many of these companies are giving people a break in time. They're saying, fine, you don't have to pay for the next 2-3 months. Make sure it doesn't hit your credit rating because that'll hurt you long term, okay? You want to make your payments. Even if you're basically safe in the sense you don't need the money, why not? The big banks are making a ton of money. Move on, okay? Move on. Now, if you have an SBA loan, they still will be able to provide some kind of help, okay? They can offer you a 6-month deferment on your loan, okay, if you have cash flows, even if you have an SBA loans, okay? And loans on a secondary market, meaning they're being sold to somebody else, they can easily give you a one-time 90-day, and believe me, you can go on. So what you want to do, as I said, push back your payments, collect your receivables, okay? Why? Cash is king. Cash is king. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the SBA disaster loans. These are loans that have just come out and they're direct from the SBA. You don't have to go to a bank, you go to the SBA. You need to have, number one, a good credit history. If your credit score is very, very low, you got a little bit of problems. You need to be able to show some ability to repay the loans in the future. And you're going to have to pledge some kind of collateral. If you have collateral, do not pledge your home, your home, your homestead as a guarantee in your collateral. Because if you don't make your payments, that's bad enough, but losing your home because you're not making your payments, that you don't want. You don't want to pledge your home. And remember, in Florida, if your home is not given as a collateral, nobody can take it away from you. You go to bankruptcy, it doesn't matter. They cannot touch your home, okay? Your homestead is safe. That's what you want, okay? Now, if you're able to get this SBA loan, and the interest rate is going to be low, it's a 30-year loan. Wow, that's really cool. But terms for businesses, terms meaning how long it'll be, it's going to depend, if presuming that you can't get it elsewhere, okay? And they're going to determine what the installment, what the maturity, they meaning the SBA was going to come up with that number, all right? So this program is called the Economic Injury Disaster Loans, Economic Injury Disaster Loans. Sometimes these loans have to do with hurricanes and stuff like that, is recovering your home, repairing your home. This is not for that, okay? This is for your business. You can get up to $2 million in working capital for small businesses and private not-for-profits, small ones, if you're in a disaster area. Guess what? The entire United States, all 50 states, plus the District of Columbia, plus the territories, meaning Guam and Puerto Rico and Saipan and who knows where else, they're all part of the national emergency, national disaster. So you have to show a injury as a result of COVID. Well, whose business is working well other than supermarkets, UPS, Amazon, but everybody else is kind of stuck in the water, right? So the assistance is provided regardless of whether the property is being damaged because we don't have a natural disaster. And the important things, the loans are not to replace sales or profits or for expansions. The loans are for what? Working capital to keep existing, to survive during this crisis. It's for payroll, it's for accounts receivables, it's for rent, it's for the insurance costs, it's your car payments, all these sort of things. That's what it's for, but it's not to replace your sales and to make profit. Okay. Now, if your loan application, this is the beautiful part, you apply online. If it's in good order, which basically means they accept the application. It doesn't mean that the application is approved, but the application went through and is accepted as a qualified application. It's in good order. Once the application is processed, you should receive in 3 days. That's supposedly the rule. I don't know if it's going to take longer, but that's the plan. That's what's in there. A $10,000, it's called an advance, but I'm going to call it a grant. Why is it a grant? Because this advance on the loan, it's free. You do not have to return the money, even if you don't take out the loan. You're going to get 10 grand. If your application is consistent, if your application is correct, it's only for small businesses, okay? And what's a small business? You and your assistant, you're working as a legal person. That's a business. Two people, you're working. That's how you earn your income. You work, okay? You work out of your house. You have I don't know, a mail order system. You work on your computer. And you've got some other people working with you. That's a business, all right? So you can get 10 grand. But here's the thing. It's approved for the first million businesses. Okay, there's 30 million small businesses. So you got to get ahead of the first 29 million. Do it right now. When we're finished with this webinar, get online and fill it out and send it in. They're going to ask for a bunch of information. You also have to self-certify. You don't need any investor. You don't need any underwriter. Nobody's going to come around and see if it's true or not true. And it is true. You have to self-certify that you've been impacted by this crisis. Other than delivery companies and people like that, Instacart, whatever you want to call them, everybody else is being impacted, in my opinion, unless you're very, very lucky. And if you're very, very lucky, God bless you. Okay. Now, the disaster loan and the terms meaning how long it's for, and the loan amount will be set by the SBA, and it's going to be based on your financial condition. If they believe you need X amount of money, let's say $500,000, and they think you can pay it back in 30 years, that's what they'll say. You may say, I need $1 million. They don't care. Not they don't care. They're going to do their analysis, okay, their own underwriting. But you're going to get $10,000 right up front. So you can get $50,000 from the state of Florida, $10,000 from the feds. Now you got 60 grand, which let's call that a bridge loan. And if the feds say no, that 10 grand is yours anyway. The 50 to the state of Florida, you got to return within a year, okay? Now, the interesting thing is, and here's a very interesting thing, the SBA can disperse up to 25 grand without requiring any collateral, okay? So if you have zero collateral, they can give you 25 grand, all right? So moving along, they will accept real estate as collateral when it's available. Now, what happens if it's not available? Then you're going to have to sign. You're going to have to say, yes, I'll take the responsibility. And then it'll be really based on your business, how structured your business is, and your credit rating, your credit score. If you have a 550 credit score, forget it. You have zero chance, doesn't matter what, okay? So as you notice here, it says the SBA will not decline a loan because you don't have physical collateral, but it will require you to pledge. You're going to sign on the bottom line. I swear, I promise I'll return this money, okay? God willing, you will be able to. God willing, your business will go forward, okay? Now, if you have a current loan, you can go ahead and ask for the COVID-19 disaster loan, if even if you have one, but the two loans cannot be consolidating, meaning if you already owe, let's say, $300,000 and now you want another 200, it'd be $500,000, but they think, well, you know what, this guy really can only owe us 400,000, then you're only going to give you the 100. If they don't think you can pay the 300 and you haven't been paying properly, you got a problem. What could happen if you do have a loan, they'll give you deferment on the current payment on your loan because we got a disaster. That's really cool. Okay. So the government wants to keep you going. So what are the steps? The steps are very simple. Number one, apply for the loan. Number two, they're going to want to verify if this property is really yours. Okay. So if you're putting some property up as a collateral, they want to verify it and the processing will go forward. But in between these two things, you're going to get the 10 grand if your loan application makes sense. If your loan application was a strong loan application and it's in good order. Okay. And number three, when the loan is approved, it can be dispersed. You don't have to take all the money at one time. And just because you applied for the loan doesn't mean you're going to take the loan. You may apply for the loan and find out, I don't need it. Guess what? The 10 grand you got, you can keep. So isn't that cool? So go ahead, apply for those two things. Apply for the PPP, which is the payroll protection plan, and apply for this one as well. Okay? Go ahead. You have nothing to lose at all. Now, do not miss out on the deadline, okay? And don't wait for the last minute because let me tell you, it's only 1 million small businesses are going to get that 10,000 grand. So you want $10,000. You want to get that 10 grand, okay? So doesn't matter what, you need to go ahead and apply before the deadline. If you're approved, you don't have to take that money if you don't want to. Circumstances could change. You say, I really don't need it. I'm fine. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and apply. And you don't have to take all the money that's approved if you don't need it. If you don't need it, take what you need. Okay, don't worry about it. Where can you get information? Oh, it's really tough. Okay, www.sba.gov/disaster. Okay, and there's you can get all the information on how to apply, and you can get the information to apply right there, right there. Very simple, very straightforward. Okay, so having said that, what do we need to do? We need to be sure we're in an eligible area. Hello, that's the whole United States. We're going to apply for the loan, and then online we're going to be able to check the status of the loan. That's quite simple, okay? So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a loan application. It's called Form 5 or 5C. You'll be able to see that online. They're going to need your IRS information, which is Form 45067. You're going to need complete copies of your most recent income tax return. If you have not filed 2019, by the way, 2019 is due in July, but if you've already done it, submit it. They want a statement of your liabilities. How much money do you owe? Basically, you got to look at your balance sheet, if you have a balance sheet. If you're a small business and you're working for yourself, as a sole proprietor, you're not going to have a balance sheet, but they want to know, what do I owe? Don't lie. They can find it in FICO scores. They can find it in different places, so don't lie. They're going to want your own personal financial statement, and they may require other information. So this is going to take a little bit of time. But the 10 grand, that's right up front, if your application is in good order, okay? Meaning that it's complete and you filled everything out properly. They may also ask for all kinds of schedules of your tax returns. Partners, if you have partners, what are they doing? Managing members, all these things. It depends what kind of structure you have. Are you an LLC? They have a general partner, you have other members, whatever it is. We'll find out. You want to know the most recent one, and if you haven't filed 2019, well, where's your year-end P&L statement, your balance sheet, whatever you have. If you're an accountant, if you hopefully have an accountant who's doing this stuff, okay? They want to know your year-end P&L, profit and loss, and there's going to be other filing like your monthly sales. Okay, these things are very important for the economic injury disaster loans. They're called EIDL, economic injury disaster loans. I have to watch the time because I try not to go over the period of time I have. Wait a moment, I got to go back here. I went ahead too fast. Okay. Now, when you're filling out the form, make sure you fill out the right place, the right click, because if you made a mistake clicking the wrong place, guess what? It's going to be bounced back, and you're going to be, so what they've told us, some people are selecting the wrong option. When I say wrong option, if you're a sole proprietor, okay, you and however many employees, but you own the business. If you're working as a DBA, doing business as, I'm a DBA, my doing business as is my other self. It's called FESPA, FESPA, Foundation for Entrepreneurship and Strategic Planning in the Americas. That's it. It's registered in the state of Florida, but it's me. Okay, I don't want to get into DBA, what that means, because we'll do that on Monday, all right? But if you're a sole proprietor, when you select the loan, you got to put in there the word sole proprietor. I don't know if you can see in the bottom there. It's kind of hard to see here, but down here in the bottom, it's clicked on the word sole proprietor. Make sure you click on the right place. If you click the wrong option, you say I'm an LLC, but you're really a sole proprietor, whatever you are, wow, you're going to have to re-register. You have to start all over again. You just can't go back and correct. So print the stuff out first. Make sure you do a checklist. Make sure you got everything right. And then as you're submitting it online, just go through your printout and make sure you're doing it properly. You're going all the way through it, okay? So here's what I say. Download the paper version, okay? It's disasterloan.sba.gov/ELA, ELA, information/paper forms. You can download that, print it out, you got it. Use it as a checklist when you prepare to submit the online. If you have any questions, you can call their customer service. Good luck getting through. You and 30 million other people are called, or you can send them an email. I think the best thing is you just go through the system and you work it out. Okay, you can send them an email. Maybe you'll get an answer. I wouldn't count on too many answers right now. I'm not knocking them. 30 million small businesses. Be the first or among the first, okay? Don't waste any time. Today's the first day. Now, you can also contact a lot of the information I got, and I really want to thank them, is from the Small Business Development Corporation. As I told you before, they're here in, their offices are downtown in FIU. You can go on their website, smallbusinessdevelopment.corporation.fiu.edu. Here's a phone number, 305-799-9230. You can send them an email, Small Business Development Corporation at FIU.com. They have a Facebook page, FIU Entrepreneurship. They have a Twitter account. These people, the Small Development Corporation, they're there to help develop small businesses. Get a contact with them. They'll help you. Their fees are extremely low, in many cases even free, okay? They love to help small businesses. That's what they're chartered at as. They are paid. A lot of their funding comes from the SBA. Most of the materials I talked about came from them, okay? So what I want to do now is basically say thank you very much for attending this webinar. Our next webinar will be on Monday. Remember, start time will be 4 p.m. This Sunday is Palm Sunday, the beginning of Holy Week for Christians. Wednesday is the beginning of Passover. Tonight's Shabbat, so Shabbat Shalom. Okay. Webinar, the video of this webinar, the recording of this webinar will go out. I always say tomorrow. I'm going to do my best to get it out within the next hour, and I'll email it to everybody who saw this webinar. And in fact, I'm going to email it to my whole email list. But I do have people who are on this webinar who I don't have any record of them prior to them signing up for this webinar. So you'll get it as well. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. My email is rbull, Robert Bull, rbull.miamirotary, from Rotary Club of Miami, Miami Rotary, at gmail.com. You can look at me on Facebook, look up Robert Bull, or you can look at my page. It's, facebook.com/FESPA, F-E-S-P-A, small f, financial capital F, and I'll take you to my page. Or you can look at my YouTube channel. Search for FESPA. A lot of FESPAs out there, I'm not the only one, unfortunately. Or I have a short URL. You just do short URL.at/b capital DGMT. Okay, I'm going to repeat my YouTube channel, short URL.at/b capital DGMT. I'll take you straight to my YouTube channel where you'll be able to see this video that I'm going to be recording and all the other videos we have before. Today is the 6th video of the series, which is Jumpstart Your Business. The whole goal is to help companies, individuals, small business owners jumpstart their business when the COVID-19 crisis is over. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have another crisis after this. It's going to be the economic crisis. Talking about the economic crisis, Monday's webinar is going to be about reinventing yourself. Some of you may not be able to go back to work. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Some of your businesses may not survive. Some of you may just say, the heck with it. I'm going to do something else. Okay. So we're going to be talking about that. If you have any doubt before that, over the weekend, have a look. We've done something on planning. We've done something on strategic planning, on customer relationship management. We have 5 webinars, 5 before today. Okay. Each webinar is around 35 to 37 minutes. Let me see. We've been 40 minutes so far. I talked a little bit too much, but I really think I had a lot of information to share with you guys. So I just want to say goodbye. Please be safe. Please, please, please wear your mask when you go out. If you go to the supermarket, wherever you're going, wear the mask. Keep it on. Keep it on. Protect other people. Protect yourself. Wear gloves. But best of all, don't go out. Don't go out. I know it's crazy, but that's what we're up to today, okay? So please be safe, be healthy, be happy, have a good weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Not Mary, what would it be? Have a happy Holy Week, the very Semana Santa, we used to call it in Latin America. Everybody take the whole week off. Next week, we will have webinars on Monday at 4 o'clock. On Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we'll be done by about 4:45. That's the first night of Passover that night. And on Friday, we will not have a webinar because Friday is Good Friday. And I'm sure that many of my Christian and Catholic friends will be going to church, not go to church, but they'll be maybe watching it on videos or Zooming it or live stream, whatever the case may be. So have a very good weekend. Have a safe weekend. Please be safe. Please stay home. Please wear your mask. The mask, the mask, the mask. Just get the, see you next. Bye-bye. Sayonara. I'm going to sign out right now. Let me see how I get out. I got to close. I got to move this away. Come on. Let's that want to close. There we go. Okay, and so in one moment I'll be able to, things working very slow, I don't know why. Whoops, I clicked it too many times. Okay, leave webinar. We're leaving the webinar. Okay, bye gang, bye-bye. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye, bye-bye.